हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू माय चैनल। टारगेट 90 प्लस सीरीज़ के सीरीज़ में आप सभी का स्वागत है। आज हम कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन चैप्टर नंबर 9 ट्वेल्थ बायोलॉजी का देखेंगे, जिसमें इस टॉपिक में हमने आज सारे PYQs और इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन सॉल्व किए हैं जो महाराष्ट्र बोर्ड के सिलेबस के अकॉर्डिंग है। तो आइए देखते हैं सारे क्वेश्चन आंसर्स। Which organ acts as temporary endocrine gland in females? It is placenta. Which disease is caused by hypersecretion of glucocorticoids? Cushing's disease. Name the hormone secreted by pars intermedia in lower vertebrates. It is melanocyte stimulating hormone MSH. What is the covering of nerve fascicle called? Endoneurium. Which cells of PNS secrete myelin sheath around the nerve? Schwann cells. Give the functions of astrocytes in nervous system. They act as blood-brain barrier. How electrical synapse differs from the chemical synapse? Electrical synapses are unidirectional, whereas chemical synapses are bidirectional. Distinguish between medulated and non-medulated nerves. Medulated nerves, they are covered with myelin sheath. Non-medulated, not covered with myelin sheath. They conduct impulse very faster, they conduct impulse slow. They are also called myelinated nerve, they are also called non-myelinated nerve. Distinguish between sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. In sympathetic, they are also called as thoracolumbar outflow. Parasympathetic, they are also called craniosacral outflow because they originate from cranium and sacrum region. Preganglionic nerves are short and postganglionic nerves are long. Here, preganglionic nerves are long and post are short. It controls the body activity system during emergency like flight, fright. It brings back to the normal all the activity is stimulated by sympathetic nervous system. They shows excitatory effect, they shows inhibitory effect. Yes, this is very important. Distinguish between cerebrum and cerebellum. It is a part of forebrain, it is a part of hindbrain. It has two cerebral hemispheres, it has two cerebellar hemispheres. It is the site for intelligence and memory. It controls and coordinates muscle activity. Arbor vitae is absent. Here, arbor vitae is present. This is most favorite question. Injury to medulla oblongata causes sudden death. Explain or give reason. Medulla oblongata controls involuntary functions like respiration, breathing, peristalsis, etc. So whenever there is injury to medulla oblongata, it causes stopping of these vital functions, due to which sudden death caused. Name the hormone responsible for regulation of calcium and phosphorus in the blood. It is calcitonin and parathormone. Describe two hormones produced by the ovaries, estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen, it is produced by the developing follicle that makes endometrium thick, and progesterone maintains the pregnancy and it is secreted by corpus luteum, responsible for thickening of endometrium and development of mammary glands. Name three mixed cranial nerves along with their numbers. Trigeminal dentist nerve 5, glossopharyngeal nerve 9, vagus nerve 10. Describe three functions of hypothalamus. It helps in homeostasis, involuntary behavior and hormonal control. It regulates heart rate, respiration, BP, temperature, water and electrolyte balance. It is a center for hunger, thirst, sleep and fatigue. It also stimulates pituitary gland. Name the glucocorticoid used in the treatment of allergy and why. It is cortisol. It acts as immunosuppressive. It increases blood glucose level and prepare human to face the emergency. It also helps in synthesis of antibodies. Therefore, it is used in the treatment of allergy. Define saltatory conduction. In medullated nerves, the transport pump and channels operate only at the node of Ranvier, where myelin sheath is absent. Therefore, the action potential jumps from node to node. This is called saltatory conduction. They conduct impulse very fast with the rate of 120 milli per second. Which hormone is secreted by pineal gland and give its function? Pineal gland secrete melatonin hormone that regulates biological clock of the body, maintains sleep and wake up cycle. It also influences metabolism and reproductive cycle. Give the role of hormone therapy. It is use of hormone in medical treatment like pregnancy, menopause and osteoporosis. It is also used in deficiency of insulin resistance and treatment of cancer. Give any three properties of nerve fiber. So यहाँ पे मैंने 4 मेंशन किया, आप कोई भी 3 लिख सकते हैं. Excitability, they have ability to perceive stimulus and become active. Conductivity, they have ability to transmit the excitation. Stimulus, it is any detectable physical, electrical, chemical change in the external or internal environment which bring excitation in nerves. Summation effect, when several subliminal stimulus is given in succession, it causes summation effect. Give the functions of CSF or meninges. It maintains the constant pressure inside the cranium. It helps in exchange of nutrient and waste between blood and brain. It also helps in supply of oxygen to brain. It protects the brain from desiccation. It acts as blood-brain barrier and check on passage of ions, molecules and pathogens. Give properties of hormone. They are made up of amines, peptides, protein, fatty acid derivative or steroids. They are effective at very, very low concentration. They function as regulator by modifying or inhibiting or stimulating any process. Some hormones enter into nucleus of target cell and interact with the gene. Some hormones react with the receptor present on the cell membrane of target cell. Explain any 2 diseases of nervous system. Parkinson's disease. It occurs due to degeneration of dopamine producing neuron. Symptoms are tremors, stiffness, balance and coordination. Alzheimer's disease. It occurs due to loss of cholinergic neurons and accumulation of amyloid protein. Symptoms: loss of thinking, remembering, reasoning and behavioral abilities. Explain hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. Hypothyroidism is low secretion of thyroxine hormone and hyperthyroidism is higher secretion. Hypothyroidism causes 2 diseases, myxoedema and cretinism. The symptoms are thickening and puffiness of skin and face, lack of alertness, intelligence, low heart rate and low body temperature. In cretinism, decreased BMR, short stature, mental retardation, dry skin, thick tongue. In hyperthyroidism, it is also called as grave disease. The symptoms are increased BMR, weight loss, heartbeat increases, increase in BP, high body temperature, nervousness, irritability and bulging of eyeballs. What is synapse? Explain its 2 types. The synapse is a gap between 2 neurons. There are 2 types, electrical and chemical. In electrical, the gap between 2 neurons is very narrow and the impulse transport is unidirectional or bidirectional. Whereas in chemical synapse, the gap between 2 neurons is wide and larger and the impulse transport is only unidirectional. Write a note on 4 different kinds of cells in pancreas. So here the cells, the hormones secreted by those cells and the functions are given. Alpha cells 20%, beta cells 70%, delta cells 5% and PP cells 5%. Alpha cell produces glucagon and the function of glucagon is to stimulate liver for glucogenolysis and increases blood glucose level. Beta cells secrete insulin that stimulate glycogenesis in liver and muscle and lowering the blood glucose. Delta cells releases somatostatin that inhibit the secretion of glucagon on insulin. PP cells, pancreatic polypeptide, it inhibits the release of pancreatic juice. Describe any 4 hormones secreted by adenohypophysis. So total there are 7 hormones. उसमें से आपको कोई भी 4 डिस्क्राइब करने हैं. जैसे growth hormone, it stimulates the growth and development of tissues by increasing protein synthesis and cell division. Example, thyroid stimulating hormone that stimulate thyroid gland. Follicle stimulating hormone, it stimulates ovarian primordial follicle to form oocyte in the female and stimulate seminiferous tubule to produce sperms. Interstitial cell stimulating hormone, ICSH, it stimulates Leydig cells to produce testosterone. Luteinizing hormone, it helps in ovulation and formation of corpus luteum in females. Describe the functions of cerebrum. It is divided into 4 lobes and each lobe has different function. Frontal lobe, it is responsible for intelligence, willpower, reasoning, planning, memory and emotions. Occipital lobe, it is responsible for visual memory and recognition. Temporal lobe, it is the area of smell, hearing and emotions. Broca's area, it translates the thought into speech. Wernicke's area help in understanding written and spoken words. Write a note on meninges of brain. It is a protective covering around the CNS. It is made up of 3 layers. Outer membrane called dura mater, middle membrane called arachnoid matter, and inner pia mater. Outer membrane is non-vascular, thick and fibrous layer. Middle layer, it is thin and muscular layer. The space between dura mater and arachnoid matter is called subdural space, filled with serous fluid. Inner pia mater is delicate, highly vascular and attached to CNS. The space between arachnoid and pia mater is called subarachnoid space, filled with CSF. Functions are given here. CSF या meninges के function आते हैं तो आप ये नीचे वाले points लिख सकते हैं. जैसे it maintains the constant pressure inside the cranium. It helps in exchange of nutrient and waste between blood and brain. It helps in supply of oxygen to brain. It acts as BBB, blood-brain barrier, and check on passage of ions, molecules and pathogens. Give the names and hormones released by neurohypophysis. Vasopressin or ADH antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin, ये 2 hormones हैं जिसमें ADH stimulate water reabsorption from the DCT and collecting ducts of nephron. Vasopressin increases BP by contraction of blood vessels. Increase in ADH increases urine output and causes diabetes insipidus. इस पे क्वेश्चन आता है ADH की वजह से कौन सा डिसीज़ होता है, तो इट इज़ डायबिटीज़ इंसिपिडस. Excess of frequent urination is called micturition. This causes excess thirst called polydipsia. Oxytocin, it stimulates contraction of uterus during parturition. It also helps in contraction of mammary glands to initiate ejection of milk. Answer the following question from the diagram. What act as first messenger? तो यहाँ पे आप देखो FSH पहला मैसेंजर है हार्मोन. Why can't hormones like catecholamine enter their target cell through plasma membrane? Because they are not lipid soluble. Name the mode of hormone action shown in this diagram. So this mechanism is hormone action through membrane receptor. Sketch and label and describe thyroid gland. It is the largest endocrine gland located in front of trachea below the larynx. It is highly vascular and bilobed. The 2 lobes are connected by isthmus. Each lobe consists of stroma that holds round follicle. These follicles are made up of cuboidal epithelial gelatinous cells that store inactive T1 and T2. The thyroid gland secrete T3 and T4 by converting T1 and T2. The parafollicular cells present between the space of colloidal masses secrete calcitonin. Sketch and label TS of spinal cord and explain. So diagram यहाँ पे दिया है, आप description देख सकते हैं. Spinal cord shows presence of posterior and anterior fissure. Central canal is present, which is surrounded by ependymal cell. The central canal is surrounded by H-shaped or butterfly-shaped gray matter. The fissure divides gray matter into 6 horns, 2 dorsal, 2 lateral, 2 ventral horns. The white matter is divided into 6 columns, dorsal, ventral and lateral funiculi. The dorsal ganglion is the center for collection of unipolar sensory neurons, which transmit the impulse to the gray matter and direct the response towards ventral horn and ventral motor neuron. The lateral horns have neurons of ANS. The white matter consists of myelinated nerve that form ascending and descending tract. Ascending tract conduct sensory impulse from spinal cord to brain, and descending tract conduct motor impulse from brain to the spinal cord. Describe the structure of pituitary gland. Adenohypophysis, neurohypophysis. Adenohypophysis grows upward from the buccal cavity and connected to hypothalamus by hypophyseal stalk. It is highly vascular and cellular with secretory cell acidophils, basophils, and chromatophores. It is divided into three parts: pars distalis, pars intermedia, and pars tuberalis. It also produces 7 hormones: LH, FSH, ICSH, GH, prolactin, etc. Neurohypophysis. It grows downward from the hypothalamus. It is connected to hypothalamus by axon fibers. It consists of three parts: pars nervosa, infundibulum, and median eminence. It produces 2 hormones, ADH and oxytocin. Draw a neat label diagram of pituitary gland. So you can see the diagram. 2 lobes are given here and you can label it. Sketch and label anatomical structure of human eye. तो यहाँ पे आप डायग्राम के साथ जितने ज़्यादा लेबल्स कर सकते हैं उतना अच्छा है. स्केच एंड लेबल ह्यूमन ब्रेन, जैसे फोर ब्रेन, सेरेब्रम, सेरेबेलम, ब्रेन स्टेम, ये लेबल्स इसके इम्पॉर्टेंट हैं. स्केच एंड लेबल एनाटॉमिकल स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ ह्यूमन ईयर, जिसमें मिडल ईयर एंड इंटरनल ईयर. Sketch and label formation of spinal nerve. Thank you.